What's up everyone, welcome back to my channels. In today's video, I'm going to talk about the part 2 of how to drift, which is figure 8. So in the previous video, I've talked about how to drift the donuts. So make sure you watch this first if you haven't, because those are the most important and fundamental training for you to learn how to drift in the right way. So after that, you are ready for today's training. If this is your first time here on my channels, my name is Timmy and welcome. So my channel is all about sharing my RC drift tips, experience, competition mastery, but also sharing my one-to-one scale drift experience. So make sure you subscribe and click the notification bell that won't miss anything of my next video. Now let's get into the video. So first of all, you have to prepare 2 cones and put it on the right position. How we can measure the distance between 2 cones is to roughly measure 2 body shell length for the cone distance. Figure 8. No drifting. We drive the car and not drifting first, because this is to familiarize yourself with the racing line and also training your finger. Press your throttle around 5%. Steer to the right smoothly with almost maximum steering angle. The throttle keep as minimum as possible. Steering start to return neutral, and the neutral point is at the center of 2 cones. After the neutral point, slow and steady steer to the left with almost maximum steering angle. Not too early to steer because it will hit the cone, and also not too late to steer because it will be too far away from the cone. So as always, balance is important. Steering start to return neutral and repeat the step to form another figure 8. Don't forget to do both clockwise and anti-clockwise directions, so please don't do inconsistent throttle and steering control, because this will end up like this. Too much throttle will spin out. Too late to steer and inconsistent throttle control will be understeer. This is bad example. So as always, you have to practice more, and the most important are consistent, smoothness and steady driving. Donut drift warm-up. After this practice, make sure you do a donut drift warm-up. You can always watch back my previous video on how to do a donut drift, and this warm-up is very helpful for you to familiarize yourself with drift initiation and also the continuous drifting, which is helpful for figure 8 drift training later. When you feel that you are comfortable to do a donut drift warm-up, then we can move on to the next training. Oval drift path. Oval drift path is a pre-practice training for figure 8 drifting, which is a great practice for you to learn how to control your drift angle first. Initiation: increase the drift angle, hold the angle, and then smoothly reduce the angle and exit. Accelerate your car a little bit and hold the throttle around 20 to 35% and steer to the right to start drifting. This is a donut skills. Then hold the drift angle, reduce the throttle to around 15 to 20% here and slowly steer to the neutral and exit. After that, this area, slow down the car and repeat the same process. Remember, this area, you don't have to be fast, just as comfortable as possible for you to get the right position to do the drift initiation. Repeat this practice until you can do it smoothly without spin out and understeer. Figure 8 drifting. Same as the oval drift path skills. The throttle around 20 to 35% and steer to the right to start drifting. Hold the drift angle. Here, keep holding the throttle in 20 and 35% range. Keep drifting and the car towards the center of two cones without understeer and spin out. When the car reaches the center, flick the car to another direction by steer to the left with almost maximum steering wheel angle. And then accelerate the throttle with a very short time. Throttle back to 20 to 35% to hold the drift angle and steer to another direction to keep drifting. Repeat the same process, hold the drift angle, keep drifting, flick the car to another direction by adjusting the steering, very short acceleration with a little bit wheel spin, reduce the throttle and steer to another direction. And that's figure 8 drifting. Next up, large figure 8 drifting. This is the same process to practice but with a large and longer figure 8. The distance between two cones is to roughly measure 3 body shaft length for the cone distance. This is the same skills of figure 8 drifting, but one thing you have to note that as the cone distance is much longer, that means you have to hold the drift angle longer time at this area. And also the transition will be taking longer time to flick the car, or you can say slower transition. And this practice is great for you to try different sides of figure 8 and you will gain more experience of it. Now you have learned the standard and large figure 8 drifting. Let's take the further challenge. Time yourself and see if you could do a 1 minute figure 8 or even more. And the bonus challenge is the extreme small figure 8 drifting. The distance between two cones is roughly 1 body shaft length. The tips here is to hold the throttle around 50% and hold a big drift angle here. We off the throttle for a very short time so the car won't slide too much, and steer to almost maximum angle to flick the car to another direction. And then accelerate the throttle to 50% with a very short time. Then press back the throttle to around 20 to 35%. Steer to another direction and hold 50% throttle to keep drifting. This is the same concept of standard side figure 8, but just a little bit small adjustment for throttle and steering angle. And that is for today's video. Hope you guys learned something about this video. If you believe this video is helpful for your friend, make sure to share this video for them. And if you have any question, comment below. And finally, enjoy your drift life. See you guys in the next video. Cheers!